So while everybody's out here trying to get the land speed record in Kerbal Space Program, I decided, and it could be because I was failing to manage it repeatedly myself, to go for the slowest flight possible in KSP. Now this is just a start. It's leaving something for people to achieve. You know, I don't want to take the record and keep it to myself. I know that RCE, you've been working really hard on the land speed record, and your vehicle was amazing for that the other day. The slight issue is that Scott Manley came along and beat it, but I do think he glitched things inside one another on there. However, your planes as well have taken advantage of messing with the sliders. I've not done sliders messing. Anyway, we're going to have a look and see how well my plane flies, how fast it will be going by the time I get to take off, if it even stays upright. I've clocked it pretty slow before. I'm going to go for 25% power there. And then in order to watch it, I'm just going to zoom right in on the wheels until we get daylight underneath them, whilst continually pulling back to see about launching. On trial runs I got it about 35 to 40 meters a second, I think it went at. You watch as it turns out wrong this time. So channeling along about 25 meters per second, it would be a fast kind of speed across the ground for an average sprinter kind of thing. Okay, maybe triple the speed of Usain Bolt at the moment. I'll ramp that up a little bit. We may run out of runway if I don't do that. Now you can see though we're getting a little bit of lift on the front wheel there at about 31.6, so we'll rack it up a little bit more. And we're off the ground at about 33 meters per second there. And we've come back down. We keep on bouncing. I'm actually going to push the throttle back on if we don't die. It needs to actually get back up to speed again, as we can see through the ground a little bit. Now, I've been really enjoying this. I played a lot of KSP, the original. You know, I can't go through the career mode yet on this because it's not there. It's still early access. I really wish I'd stopped bouncing. I'm going to see, though, if I can do an entire flight across to the little island place. Now, I don't have parachutes on this, and when I have been trying flying recently on this game, I've been doing a very bad job. But I'm going to see if I can keep it at around about 35% throttle. This is the weakest engine as well. And see if I can get to that little island and land it safely. Then, that is the challenge going forwards. Can you make a slower plane? So it's 33 meters per second is the target to beat for getting off the ground. Now, I've not massively overdone everything on there. I'm going to try getting it. Got it to 37. We'll try 37 on the throttle there. That's right, Bill. You are going to be bored to tears, mate. It's going to take about 4 hours to get down this runway. I have, though, been trying the land speed record. I've even tried it with electric. Trying to beat the electric speed record. There we go. Ooh, we're at 32.6. So 32.6 meters per second. I think that's the newest low I've seen. It is quite hard to keep it up. We'll pull back in the landing gear, so now if I make a mistake and let it go, it will be fatal. I'm having to constantly pull back on this, because it's not really properly gaining enough lift from going at speed. We got plenty of fuel left. We've used 0.02 of a ton. Now I think the island is just over that way somewhere. Roughly. I don't know if I'm going to make this as a series at any point coming up soon. This may be like a couple of one-off challenges here and there. Ooh, we're actually getting slower because we've gone up a bit, and this engine rates differently at different altitudes. You know, I may come back to this at some point in the future for a series, you know, when things are moving out of the early access. Are we heading down over? No, we're still pointing up. Those wheels are not secure looking. Yeah, there's the island there, just on the right, I think it is, because it has got a bit of a mountain on it. This may take a little while, but we are going to do this. Now, the idea behind this game, though, isn't just messing about doing land speed records and making planes. I'm actually going to turn SAS off because he keeps on trying to go back straight on. I think we have rolled a little bit. What is it doing? No, 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 game. Come on. Back to the right. Back to the right. Good plane. It's still in early access. And it's the most expensive early access game I've bought. What are you doing, plane? I suppose I am constantly holding down the S key. Yeah, we managed to take off at below 33 meters per second, which is quite impressive. This is actually getting a little bit tedious even by my reckoning, and it is spinning out of control. I wonder if that is to do with the very, very low speed. There may well be air conditions that I'm not paying attention to in this, because there's quite a lot of little things in this game. I mean, as I mentioned, I played a lot of Kerbal Space Program 1, really enjoyed it, did a lot of space missions. Always got sidetracked, though, around about the time when I started properly doing things like refuel missions on the moon. So I never really made it to the outer planets. I did once, I think, if I remember right. Plane, what are you doing? Yeah, so we're nearly at the end of the runway, which is depressing how long this has taken. Oh, we've used 0.6 of a ton of fuel. Plane, come on. Come on. Right, while we're out over the water, I'm actually going to speed up a little bit. We know we can keep it up. Now, though, if I go up to full throttle on this, and this is the weakest engine, how are we going to do? We are pitching down again. I mean, this isn't the greatest plane design ever. It was literally just designed to get off the ground as quick as possible using those surfaces. I do feel like it is going to tip down over a lot. We can get to about 100 meters per second, which is pretty cool. It's not a good plane. It is very much not a good plane. The balance of the wings and everything like that is all wrong. They're not matching up with the centre of gravity at all. I just put loads of them on in order to get as much lift as possible to see if it would work like that. So, if anybody wants to have a go at this challenge, your target is to get slower than 32.6 meters per second off the ground. Now, one little rule. I didn't mess with any of the sliders. This is on normal difficulty. I didn't mess with the fuel or anything like that. You can do whatever you wish with it. This was just a very quick attempt after I got very frustrated at failing to break the land speed record and constantly just veering off to the left for some reason. I genuinely don't understand that. May well have a go, though. When I figure that out, you may well see an attempt at a land speed record there when I finally figured it out. But that day is not today. And this is actually so painfully boring watching this plane fly this slowly. I used to love building planes on KSP1, if I'm being honest. Used to love doing like little science missions with them, flying across all the different biomes in a bigger plane, having an entire strip of all the science instruments all the way down it, progressing over the different biomes at different heights, even doing little EVAs. Ooh, hang on. Getting up to some decent G-forces there. Okay, so now we're actually gaining altitude there. Now we're flattening out again, but we're above the clouds. This engine will not work at very high altitudes. It will cut out. It's not one of the Rapier engines. It is just the crappiest normal size, well, small size, I suppose, engines. I was actually kind of surprised that they kept the island here with the little old runway on kind of thing from the first game. There are a lot of things they've kept in by the sounds of things, which is nice. I'll say, you know, some nostalgia. There's a line between though nostalgia and pandering, I will say. We are still going way too fast. 200 meters per second, guys. I mean, come on. That's practically like light speed. Which would be around about 299.8 million meters per second, but now you don't get quite perfectly lined up with the path we've taken for it, so I'm going to have to turn a lot in. Let's go full glider for a second. I have turned off my engine, which means that we're just reliant upon the surfaces on the plane, and I've overshot. Monstrously overshot. No, 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 come on. Well, since the runway's in such terrible shape, we'll do a grass landing anyway. You know, it's the same difference. I've not cheated. We lost something there. Not quite sure what we lost. Oh, we lost a wing. That's great. Didn't need it anyway. Perfectly safe. Yep. I mean, he can't actually EVA at the moment, probably because the wings are stuck over his door. But yeah, that looks fine. Absolutely fine. And look how stable that flight is. Just look how stable it is. The wheels aren't touching the ground, therefore it's flying. 0.1 meters per second. Okay, I've had enough of being made to feel very, very stupid by this game for today. So I'm going to hand the challenge over to you. 32.6 meters per second. Can you go slower? Catch you all later.